Hi, guys. Welcome back to another edition of On the Hunt with Alpine Optics. Today we have a very special guest, Josh McCain. He's from Carbondale, Kansas, also on Alpine Bresser Pro staff. And of course, you got the head honcho, Mr. Rick White himself. They're going to talk a little bit about Kansas turkey hunting, and don't forget about our weekly special coming up at the end of the show. Hi, guys, and welcome back to another special edition with On the Hunt with Alpine Optics. I'm just here enjoying the wonderful, beautiful day on Wednesday, and I got my very special guest, Mr. Josh McCain, which we also have Rick. You can't forget about Rick, but Rick's going to go a little bit more in detail of who our special guest is. Rick, how the heck's it going out there?
Well, good. I'm a little bit tired. I've been turkey hunting quite a bit, but I've been traveling a lot, and I actually would have been in Kansas still, but we had some really good luck, and I was able to get home just a couple days early, and that leads me into my good buddy that I've been doing a lot of stuff with over the years, Josh McCain, nickname old Josh Freight Train McCain. But Josh, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. Why don't you tell the folks just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from Carbondale, Kansas, born and raised right here. I love hunting and fishing and basically anything outdoors. Got a major passion for outdoor sports when it comes to motocross and side-by-sides and stuff like that. So we actually just purchased an off-road park here at Carbondale. And if you guys ever want a place to ride a side-by-side or a dirt bike or an ATV, we got the place for you. It's called McCain's Off-Road Park.
You know, you introduced me a little bit to it. I saw your park, which is really, really cool looking, but I got to ride in, I think it was a Can-Am, if I'm not mistaken. But you took me for a ride in that today, and it's the first time I've ever been in a machine like that, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The technology 10 years ago, you rode in a side-by-side, and it was fun, but I mean, now the amount of stuff that you can do in them, it's just absolutely crazy. Don't get me wrong. The bad thing is that a lot of places don't allow these things to be driven anywhere, so people are just driving them on the roads. So us trying to provide something somewhere for someone to take them is the number one goal that we're trying to do, and in a safe but yet fun environment.
Yeah, I was surprised to find luxury things like in automobiles. You had electrical windows, you had a heater, you had a windshield. I'm not used to a windshield, and you had a really crazy stereo, which was pretty cool, and windshield wiper blades. So you have everything that a vehicle has, really.
Yeah. Not everyone is like that by no means. Most of the people that are, I call it a grandpa mobile because I want to be able to be comfortable and it's a workhorse also. I bought mine to work around the park and stuff. There's a lot of people that they don't even have windshields. They don't have doors on them. It's kind of like a Jeep or a dune buggy, and they literally tear them up, and that's the goal. But me, I use mine, and I wanted something that whenever it's cold out, I can be out there, and staying warm.
I think you had told me when you were just a kid. I mean, you had a passion for motocross at a very young age, and I think you told me, and this is back even in my day. I remember the old XR75s. I think, if I remember right, you said you had one, but you started riding when you were young.
Yeah, I started riding, not racing, whenever I was 5, and I had an XR50. And then the next thing that we went to was 4-wheelers on the farm and stuff like that. But whenever we actually started racing motocross, we actually started out on YZ 125s and KX 125s, me and my brother both. And throughout the years, we raced for years. And now my son, he's got a major passion for it, just like I had. But I've got the ability to give him more than I had whenever I was growing up, whenever it comes to taking him all over. Kind of like you do with hunting is what we're doing now, more with racing, all over the United States doing it. So it's a good time, and it makes me happy to see somebody have so much passion for something at a young age. So it's a great thing.
You had told me the other day that your son is a little bit more daring, let's say, than you were. And I know safety is always a concern, but you also told me that sport with the right equipment, what they're wearing nowadays is really, I know there's injuries and things like that that'll happen, but it's a pretty safe sport overall, I think.
Yeah, it's that way with everything. Even in the hunting field, everything's gotten safer, and that's the way it needs to be. We don't skimp on safety gear. We get them the best helmets. We get them the best gear because it's a preventable thing at that point. Wrecking is not preventable, but if you have the right gear, you can prevent injuries. So, but yes, he is 12 years old now, and he is doing stuff and more crazy and jumping jumps and doing stuff that I never did at 20 years old on a dirt bike. So he's a 12-year-old kid that would have beat me at 20. So I can't really complain with how he's looking. And the way that he has a passion for it is it makes me enjoy putting money into something just like the park. If he wasn't into the dirt bikes and stuff, we probably wouldn't have bought the park, just for the fact that he has a passion for it. And hopefully it's something that I can hand down to him, in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, I know. I just came from your house and I got to stay in his room, and it was just full of trophies. But let's talk a little bit about the turkey hunt that we just went on. Here jumping. Let's talk a little bit about, in our past, Josh, you and I have hunted for years and years together. And, I always used to look forward to coming to Kansas because you guys had a ton of turkeys and it was great hunting. But in the last 3 years, we've had a big decline. And, talk about that a little bit. The turkey population is down.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, it's one of those things that I still don't quite get it and still quite understand what's going on with it. But there's fields and there's roost spots that we used to have 50. I mean, Rick, you can vouch for it, 50 to 70 gobbling birds on the roost every morning and every evening. And we're going to those same fields and there's not a turkey on the field, or there might be 5 or 6 total in the whole entire pasture or in the entire timber. So I don't know if it has to do with floods, diseases. We did have an extremely wet year. I kind of like to talk to a biologist, or Rick even mentioned something along those lines of talking with somebody about what's going on with it. But it's made it where hunting is tough. So if you're wanting a tough hunt, it'd probably be a good one to come here. But I honestly don't get why. Now, don't get me wrong, predators could be a big part of it. I know that I wouldn't say that predators have eradicated them like they have, by no means, but they've definitely, put a dent in them in the past. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's a mystery to me, and I hope I can get some answers to it because it's really sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I'm talking to, and in a lot of states, the turkey populations are down. Even here in Iowa, they're down. It's still good, but they are down from where we were a few years ago. But I really noticed when I was in Georgia, the turkey populations are way down. And then in Kansas this past week. Now, archery season started Monday. And I know you and I went out Monday morning. Now, we were filming our hunts for our show. And Josh will talk a little bit about that, because Josh, even though he loves to hunt, actually enjoys getting behind a camera and has done it for a lot of different shows over the years. But we went out Monday morning and we did not hear a turkey gobble. We did not see a turkey. And, the only reason that we stayed on them and we went back to the same place the next day is because of the scouting that you had done ahead of time. So when you get into those areas where your turkey populations are down, scouting is a huge benefit and factor into being successful. And, we went out yesterday morning, again, never heard a turkey gobble, but we just waited them out, and we were fortunate that they did hit the field that morning. And I don't know if Paul's showing some of the footage, but we ended up being very successful, and Josh filmed an excellent hunt, and I was able to arrow one. And so it made it a successful trip. But we dealt with wind, and we dealt with rain, and we dealt with no turkeys, basically. I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Josh?
Well, the weather in Kansas, I don't think there's been a year here that the weather hasn't gave us every season that you can ask for. So this is probably one of the only years that you didn't have to hunt in snow. I mean, there's been a couple years that you actually hunted in snow, this year's definitely different. The weather, the rain that we got last night really, to me, put a damper on even going out and trying this morning. It was still raining a little bit, so it was just one of those things that I'm just trying to I want to see the turkey population come back up. So I will probably opt out of hunting the rest of the year and probably do more just scouting and seeing what's going on, seeing what the numbers are, and going from there.
Well, I certainly hope they come back, and I hope, there's groups out there like the National Wild Turkey Federation that I know are trying to help, and there may be some other organizations. So I would tell people to get with your local organizations, whatever they may be, and try and do your part to help out with the conservation side. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about predator hunt. I mean, we had a great turkey hunt, but I know predator season really isn't in full swing right now, but there are different times of the year when predator hunting is great, and you do a lot of it. And I know that you used to film a lot of predator stuff for us years ago. So, and I know you love it. So talk a little bit about predator hunting out in Kansas, because it's great out there.
Yeah, there's three things that I really, really go after. Of course, coyotes year round. You can hunt coyotes. Of course, whenever they're having pups and stuff, we usually don't hunt them then. Just if there's a farmer that wants us to get rid of them and they want us in there, we will. But other than that, we usually don't hunt the coyotes whenever they're having pups. Then
Josh,
you have to have a fur.
Josh, is that just in Kansas alone that you're allowed to hunt coyotes all year round?
I do not know about any other states' regulations on the coyote hunting. I don't. Yeah. So I know in Kansas.
Yeah, most states allow you to hunt coyotes year round.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't speak for all of them. But most do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that in Kansas you have to have a fur bearer license to hunt any other small game animal like a coon or a fox or a bobcat. Any of those things, you have to have a fur bearer license, and you have certain months that you can do it.
So, so to find out those regulations, it'd probably be best to call your state wildlife refuge or wildlife conservationist just to see what those might be.
Yeah, you can get on Kansas Department of Wildlife, and every state has the website that you can go on and you can look up all the regulations. Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling you, I don't want to give you wrong information, so that's the reason I'm telling you. You go look it up yourselves, and you'll be able to get exactly what you need. But the coyote population here is actually thriving right now. So people getting out and calling for coyotes, it's a wonderful thing. And of course, with the way the turkey population is down right now, I would recommend people going and getting a call, and instead of going turkey hunting, maybe go out and get you a couple coyotes taken out of the herd, so we can see if we can, maybe that'll help the turkey population. Everything we can give them to come back and thrive again is what we're looking for.
Josh, there's what the importance of keeping predators, in manageable numbers. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but bobcats, for instance, they not only decimate turkeys, but songbirds and squirrels and ground squirrels and rabbits and all that, and coyotes, of course, deer and turkeys, and and it just goes on and on. And if you don't have a balance, nature just gets out of check a little bit, and one thing just kind of leads to other things.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the area that I'm at here in Kansas. We're pretty suburban, where there's smaller tracts of land. A lot of people don't have huge 500-acre farms here. They own an 80 or and pretty much everybody around here has dogs and cats and stuff. And it's amazing that the coyotes, that the packs that they get in these days, and they actually hunt, and you don't actually lose small dogs and cats and livestock even to the coyotes, because they will, if they get hungry, they'll work in a pack. So yeah, and not just that, like you said, bobcats, they're really bad with the squirrels and the songbirds and everything. They are hunters, and that's what they like to do. So that's the reason whenever you go out there and you're calling and you're using those sounds of bird sounds and dying rodent sounds, it really draws them in. And it's not only is it something that a lot of people enjoy to do, but you're helping out by keeping the numbers down.
Yeah, that leads me to another thing. There's a lot of people that do predator hunt, and they all have their own ways of doing it. But what are some of your favorite, first of all, the favorite time of the year to hunt, and what's your favorite, type of calls to use?
Oh, I'm definitely a September and October. I like calling there for coyotes in Kansas. And of course, all winter long is really good for coyotes because they're hungry. But I like it whenever the pups are young. The pups are, and I shouldn't say the pups, they're yearlings by that, or they're a year-old dog at that time, but they're still, I call them pups because they're young. But they're easier to call in, and it's a good time doing it at that point in time. The number one thing I can tell people to do is play the wind. There's a lot of people that won't even go out in the woods and go hunting unless they get home and they take a shower and they spray down and they do all that stuff. They're going to smell you no matter what. You can do everything you want to do to eliminate your smell. You're never going to get rid of it all. I'm not saying it doesn't help doing that, but I'm just saying you're never going to get rid of it all. So as long as you can play the wind, I enjoy hunting crosswinds, to where I set something out, the call, the decoy, whatever you have in front of you. I set it to where if they get downwind of the sound or the decoy, they're not downwind of me. Unless I'm mouth calling, and then you're kind of in the situation that you're in at that point. And then whenever I set up, the number one thing I try to do other than playing the wind is I try to get in the shadows, whether it's the shadows of the trees, a hillside, something where you're not out in the sun. If it's a sunny day, that really, really, really eliminates if you are moving, especially like us, Rick, where we always have two people at minimum because we have a cameraman and stuff like that with us.
Right. Now you do something I think is somewhat unique. I had never been involved with the type of hunting that I'm going to talk about now with other people. And I know other people do it, but one of the things that you specialize in and really enjoy doing is calling raccoons. And
yeah,
not a lot of people do that, but it's very effective the way you guys do it. Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a really good time because whenever a coon comes into a call, they typically come in pretty aggressive, especially if you play like a coon and a coyote fighting. Not only do you have a chance of calling in a coyote doing that, but whenever we do it, we set up next to den trees. We know where they're at on most of our farms that we have. Some of the public hunting that we have around here, we know where den trees and stuff are at. So while we're out in the months that it's legal here, we will go out, and while we're coyote hunting and stuff, we might walk over to the timber and actually hit a den tree or something like that. And all we do is, like I said, we play a lot of bird sounds is a good one for the coons. But other than that, it's the coyote and coon fighting. It's a really, really good one to pull them out. And they get coming out of the tree pretty quick sometimes. Sometimes you'll just have them poke their head out. They won't come out of the tree, but it is a good time. And it helps a lot also with the population of, they'll eat a turkey nest in a night, so it's a good thing to get that taken care of, and we have numbers. We're allowed to put corn out for deer and stuff like that here. And I'll literally in my backyard here have a camera out, and I will get 20 and 30 pictures, or 20 and 30 coons in one picture. So we have got horrible numbers of them.
What I thought was pretty cool. I looked out in your backyard yesterday, I think it was, and you had a fox out there. And then when I was driving home, you sent me a video of a fox with a bunch of little pups, little babies. And they're so cute. But you've got a lot of fox in your area. We very seldom see one here. We have them, but not like you guys do.
Yeah, the fox actually, where I built my house at, We dozed up just enough timber to build the house and have a little bit of a front yard and a little bit of a backyard. And the brush piles are still in my front yard and still in my backyard. And the one that's in my backyard is actually where they put their den this birthing cycle for the pups. And there's 7 pups in my backyard right now. Last year they had them at the bottom of my hill in the tube. They dug it underneath the tube. Well, where they did that at, it eroded in the spring and it eroded the whole tube out. Now the city is having to go in and put in a whole new road and the tube and everything where they had their den last year at. So they wasn't happy with that. They filled that den with concrete.
One other thing I've noticed, and I don't know why, and we've been chased by one time, but I see more skunks in Kansas than any other state that I go to. But we were actually walking out. This was a few years ago. We were walking to a turkey spot early morning in the dark. And I remember you were saying, what is that in front of us? Just not even 15 yards in front of us. And it was a skunk and it was chasing us. And we were actually moving away from it and it was coming after us. So some weird things can happen out in the woods. Hey, let's talk a little bit. I know that you enjoy getting behind the camera a lot. And me, I've been filming for quite a few years too, but I got to tell you, I'd rather be in front of the camera. That's just me. I like to get behind the camera, but I like to hunt. You actually enjoy getting behind the camera even more so than hunting. And why is that?
Well, I would have to say the main reason for it is I'm still in the woods both ways. I'm still hunting. If you killed or you got your turkey yesterday, I got that same turkey. I am not the one that released an arrow at it, but I still was part of it. And my main reason for it is you as the hunter, you're bored. If you're not having any luck, no turkeys coming in, there's nothing happening, you're bored. Me, I'm still trying to show the viewers what we're experiencing through our eyes in the woods at that point in time. So if there's a bird out there, most likely we filmed a skunk or two. Anything that's going on out there, we're trying to film, whether it's the leaves falling, the raindrops, the dew burning off, whatever you can do. Rick filmed a beautiful fog lifting in Kansas a couple years ago that we used that clip a lot. And it was just, all the way across. And you would have never thought that clip would get shown so much, but it has, because it wasn't even an animal. It was just you was showing what you thought looked good. And you always got something to do. That's what I enjoy about it most.
Yep. Josh, you hit the nail on the head, because you and I got together several years ago and developed our hunting show called Through the Eyes of a Hunter. And the whole reason for that name is we wanted to bring hunts to the viewers through everybody's individual eyes. Every person has a different story to tell, and it's told a little bit differently. And we wanted to bring the hunt to you through their eyes. Our hunts, we don't have a lot of fancy music and a lot of fancy edits. It's just raw hunting, and it's the way it happens. And we show the good times and the bad times. So, I'd encourage people to get out. We've got free DVDs on turkey hunting out, but we also have a show on the huntchannel.tv and MOTV and some other networks coming up here soon. So, Tyler, I don't know if there's any questions you might have for Josh or myself, but I know we're running towards the end of the show, and
we got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. A couple questions that we may have to have Josh back on for the next show because I'm more interested in his park. I have in-laws that live in Olathe, and Carbondale's not that far from Olathe, and my kid's approaching 10. I have a 4-year-old now. I think that'd be something for them to do, to get out, experience something different and new and whatnot. But let's talk about this wonderful special that we got going on here. So we have here the Bresser LR800 waterproof rangefinder. The beauty thing about this beautiful piece of equipment is that it is live ranging while you're using it. It makes adjustments while you're using it. You don't have to, you just hold the button and point it wherever you want to point it, and it will do whatever you need it to do. It will give you live updates through the actual monocle here, battery compartment, and you have 3 buttons up top. The beauty part about it is, Rick and Josh, its normal starting price is $169.99. But for this week and this week only, from the end of the show till Sunday night, it is literally $85. And how you do it is you go to BresserUSA.com or AlpinOptics.com. Just go to the search bar and type in the LR800WP and enter in the promo code at checkout. On the Hunt. By God, you got a heck of a deal right there.
$85 for a rangefinder. And you know what? Every hunter, whether you're a turkey hunter, deer hunter, or predator hunter, really should have a rangefinder in their pack. I mean, I rely on them so much, and I know Josh does too. That's a great price.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For that price, buy 2.
Hey, we need to put him on the payroll.
So, Rick, let's discuss a little bit about who's on coming up next week.
So next week we have Tom and Landon Meller from Wisconsin, and they're going to talk about shed hunting. Now, I do a little shed hunting, and I know Josh does a little, but these guys, they shed hunt, unlike most people. So they've got some really neat stories and some great advice for you kind of amateur shed hunters out there. So it'll be an interesting show for sure.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, we can't wait. Guys, again, that's going to wrap it up here with another special episode of On the Hunt with Alpin Optics. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook or YouTube Live. This is Tyler signing off.
See you guys.
Thank you.
You know, here we are midsummer here in Iowa, and I'm just out doing some scouting, glassing deer, kind of taking an inventory of what I've got, and doing it from a distance. I've got one of the new Alpin spotting scopes. It's a 20 by 60, but one of the things I really like about this, it comes with a tripod, and it's got micro adjustments, so it's real easy to zoom in and move around and find those animals. But basically, this is a great tool to help me manage the farm all year round. If you're looking for a great way to do some scouting, do it in the evening from a distance with a nice spotting scope. You know, good optics are a must for a hunter. The new Alpin Tetons. They're lighter, they're better in low light, excellent glass. You'll be hard pressed to find that glass for under $1,000. Everything that you would want in a pair of optics. I know what I'm looking for, and once I know what I'm looking for and find what it is, that's what I'm interested in buying. The bottom line is they're affordable, they're lighter, and they're great in low light. The new Alpin Tetons. Another deer coming out. Let's talk a little bit about Alpin and Bresser optics. Now they have a full line of optics, but what I want to talk to you now about is rangefinders. They have several different varieties of handheld rangefinders and the new bow rangefinder. Now for you bow hunters, you go ahead and sight in at 20 yards and you calibrate it to your 20-yard pin, and when you're at full draw, whatever you point in that 20-yard pin on an object, it'll tell you the yardage. So whether you like a handheld or you want to put one on your bow, we have both options for you here at Alpin and Bresser Optics.